With what's going on in the world, like Russia invading Ukraine, for instance, and what's going on in the country, in the Philippines, is it really time for Filipinos to shift to um, vehicles using renewable energy? The simple answer is yes. It's mainly because of three reasons, and those three reasons will probably annoy somebody who really loves those dino juice guzzling archaic engines. And well, here it is. The first one is it's for practical reason. Um, it is also environmental friendly. Um, an example would be my use of an electric scooter. For the past year would only warrant me about 400 pesos um, uh, in 1 year in just 1 year of use, in comparison to my using a Honda Model X RM 125cc motorcycle, which will probably get me close to 5,000 pesos in 1 year, just for the fuel itself. And that's a big comparison in terms of practicality. I'm not using the environmental card yet. The second would be the current state of war in Russia, which is being waged by Vladimir Putin against Zelensky's Ukraine, is placing a grip on the world's economy, especially on the supply of gas, fuel, basically. It's been years and years that we've been trying to pump out oil. By the way, did you know that oil, or just biological matters that's been there for millions of years? That's why we call them dino juice, because they're probably dinosaurs or even trees that's rotted out and been under the earth, underground for millions of years, and it will dry up, and that's a basic fact. Now, the third reason that we have to look at why we have to shift to electric vehicle is because the UN just released it's a UN intergovernmental program on climate change, which is composed of 270 scientists, and they wrote a staggering 3,675 pages of report. It just says that the world as we know it is on the brink of survival, and it's ready to grim. The situation is really bad for us. That's also one reason why we have to use electric or renewable energy source for vehicles, and one of them is electric, and that's there's a lot of reasons why we have to shift to electric vehicles. I'm not just talking about electric scooters. I'm talking about electric motorcycles, electric mopeds, electric bikes, electric vehicles, ambulances made of electric. It's a big investment for the government, but also it will really help the environment. And there are a lot of myths, and I'll talk to my drivers about about their fears of using electric vehicles. That would be on another video. Why electric cars? So it's simple. They're more reliable. They don't have a lot of of parts in comparison to a motorcycle that has a lot of parts, and an e-motor that only has several parts that you can count. So it's a big maintenance change. So another one, electric cars are better for the planet. We've been talking about archaic combustion engines polluting the planet, and electric cars are obviously it doesn't have any exhaust, it doesn't have any emission. That means that it is earth friendly, and basically it is also economical. One thing about electric cars is, or electric vehicles, that they are quiet. Even my scooter, it's a performance scooter, it's a monster scooter, it's a stand-up scooter, but and an all-terrain one, but it is quiet. It doesn't have any noise pollution in comparison to motorcycles, which I seem to know a few people like those motorcycles without it really stress you out and all that stuff. Another thing, some people didn't know this, but electric vehicles are also fast. They're not just fast, but they're really stupidly fast in comparison to combustion engine that has to, go through some paces, mechanical paces and chemical paces to burn out fuel. An electric vehicle just have to open up its taps and run the gamut. It's as simple as that. You can get electric scooters, about 72 volt electric scooters that can run within 3 seconds to about 50 kilometers per hour, and that's because it has that kind of motor. And the true motorcycles shouldn't be even called motorcycles. It should be engine cycles or something, because it doesn't use any motors. It uses engines. Now, electric motorcycles, the electric types, those are the real ones, because they use motors, and those are electric motors. Right now, electric vehicles in the Philippines are not cheap because we don't have that legislation yet. In other countries, some of those vehicles that you can see on the road, the electric ones, they're being subsidized by combustion engine vehicles, because we're pointing at the combustion engine as the ones destroying the environment, and they have to be responsible. The makers have to be responsible, and even the owners have to be responsible enough to know that they also have to contribute in helping out the environment. Some Americans actually doesn't like that. That's why they blow coal whenever they pass by an electric vehicle, an EV. In the case of the Philippines, we still don't have that legislation, and we're hoping that politicians running for office will be smart enough to adopt legislation in a national scale that would subsidize electric vehicles and the electric transport system. When we say subsidize, it's not the government subsidizing it, but let's do the same thing with what they're doing outside the Philippines. That means that those archaic engined vehicles, whatever they call that, they said they are modern, but they're not. The type of engine is already archaic. So those gas guzzling, dinosaur juice guzzling engines should be the ones funding the electric cars, and that's one move that government officials can do, especially the politicians who's running for office this coming May. And we haven't heard anything about that while they're speaking on the podium or on debates. But let's hope that we can hear something about electric vehicles and renewable energy vehicles from the politicians this election, and of course legislations. We have a commitment, by the way, on with climate change, and it has to be a commitment that we have to be very serious of. Singapore, if I'm not mistaken, will probably go to full electric on 2024, if I'm not mistaken. That's if I can still remember the meetings that we had with the Electric Vehicle Association of the Philippines, and that's one of the things that was discussed. So I hope the Philippines will follow suit. We have to change our mindset about electric vehicles. Yeah, video about busting the myths about our fears on using electric vehicles will be coming up on this channel. By the way, this video will air on my YouTube channel and also on my Facebook account. So go ahead and subscribe. Also click the like button so that it will be easily searchable, and the notification bell. It will really help the channel, both channels, and see you in the next one.